What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Life After Lockup Season 5, Episode 48, Test of Faith. Let's talk about Kimberly and Joey. So the last time that we saw Kimberly and Joey, she woke him up that morning for them to go to church. He wasn't feeling well, and so he decided to go to urgent care. So that's where we're at on this episode. So he is at urgent care, and Kimberly is talking to us and letting us know that she's highly, highly suspicious of Joey's behavior. She thinks that he's back on drugs. She's trying to get to the bottom of it all. She looks at her phone and she sees that he took money out of their joint account. There was $100 in their joint account and now it's down to $4. So she wants to know what's been going on with that. He finally comes home at about 8 o'clock that night and she asked him if he got his prescription and he said no because it wasn't ready yet. And she looked at him like she didn't believe him, as she shouldn't, because he has an excuse for everything. And he says, no, for real, my medicine isn't ready yet. I can even show you on my phone when I called the pharmacy. Well, he never ended up showing anything on his phone. So obviously he was lying about that. So she wants to know, like, where the hell were you? What the hell is going on? So then she suggests for him to take a drug test. And he was acting like, oh, I can do a drug test. I ain't worried about that. I'm not concerned about that. So he drinks a whole lot of juice to fill up his bladder. And he goes into the bathroom. He pees in the cup. She takes the cup when he's done. She looks at the results and he tested positive for cocaine. Joey looks confused. He looks flabbergasted. He's looking at her like, what? How? I don't understand. So he actually decides to leave because he knows he's been caught. He's in trouble. He's been lying to her the whole entire time. So he takes the keys. He gets into the car that she bought for him. She follows him outside into the driveway. And he tells her that the test is bogus. She asked him why did he take the money out of the account, and he says, you know, what does it matter, because you're not going to believe anything I say anyway. Kimberly girl, now that you have your evidence, you have your proof, because you've been having suspicions all along. Now that you have your proof that he's back on drugs, the doors should be locked when he comes back. Okay, you need to call a locksmith, and those doors need to be locked when he comes back. Um, you got to let him go. He's got to leave. You have small children. You kept talking about how you need to find out what's going on with Joey for the safety and for the well-being of your children, your children, your children. Now that you know what's been going down with Joey, it is time for you to ask him to leave expeditiously. Um, this relationship should never have taken place to begin with, because your priority should have been your children. And his priority should have been getting clean and getting his life back on track. Y'all had no business getting back together. Kim and Melissa remind me of one another. They're so caught up in these men, but they're not caught up in how the men are today. They're caught up in the way these men were back in the day, back when they were in high school. They think that they're dating, you know, that 16, 17, 18 year old that they met and fell in love with when they were all in high school. Okay, so that Joey is not that guy no more, Kimberly. He is not that guy. I don't know what made her think that this was going to be positive in any way, that this person who's been in and out of jail, can never keep his stuff together, is constantly getting in trouble, why you thought this was going to be a good connection when you are trying to raise two small children. Now, if you were single, do you, but you're not. You got two, oh no, I'm sorry. If you didn't have children, do you, but you have two children to consider. So now that you have the proof and the evidence, the next time that we see you, we need to see you single again and Joey not living in your home anymore. Let's move on to Bianca and Daniel. So we're at the part where Bianca and Daniel were going out to eat with Daniel's best friend and the best friend's girlfriend. They're all talking about Bianca and Daniel's relationship, and everybody except for Bianca is of the mindset that Bianca and Daniel need to wait before they get married. Now, Bianca doesn't want to hear this because she wants to be engaged like yesterday. And so she thinks that Daniel is moving too slow. Daniel made all these promises to her when he was in prison that he was going to marry her, and he's not fulfilling any of those promises. So she's getting really frustrated. And the best friend and Daniel are both like, hey, we need to slow down. We need to get to know each other better before we take that step. So Bianca gets upset and she storms out of the restaurant. Eventually, Daniel does follow her outside reluctantly because he didn't want to go chase her down. So the friend tells him, just go check on her. No, not the friend, but the friend's girlfriend tells Daniel, just go check on her. So he goes out, he gets into the car with her, and, they're talking about how she's telling him she's upset, she's frustrated with the friend and the things that the friend was saying. And Daniel is like, I don't know why you're making this such a big deal. We're trying to have a good time. And he tells her, why don't you come back in the restaurant and say goodbye to my friends and then we can leave? She didn't want to do that. So he gets out of the car to say goodbye to the friends. And while he's gone, Bianca takes off. So then he has to Uber it home. So 45 minutes later, they're back at the apartment together. They have a conversation. Bottom line, he's going to propose when he's ready to propose, and the only thing that she can do is to wait patiently for that to happen. She tells him that she's got family members that she is no longer talking to because of the decisions that she made to be with Daniel. I don't know what that has to do with Daniel. Bianca, that's all on you. If your family members, if you and your family members had a falling out because you decided to be with Daniel, that's got nothing to do with Daniel. You should not put that pressure on him or that guilt on him, because that has nothing to do with them. That was a decision that you made or your family members made. That should not put any kind of pressure on him to hurry up and marry you. I'm not understanding why Bianca does not understand that y'all need to take it slow. Y'all need to slow the hell down. Y'all don't know each other. Y'all have never lived together. Y'all have never had a relationship outside of the prison walls. I'm not understanding why she's in such, and she can't stand the guy because she's constantly talking about him. Whenever she gets a chance to be with one of her friends, she's constantly talking about him. Even with his own cousin, she's talking crap about him. So Bianca's best friend, Haley, comes into town. She picks her up from the airport. They go to a restaurant. And as soon as they get there, she starts talking crap about Daniel. Now she has someone that can commiserate with her and agree with her that, yes, Daniel is a bum. Daniel is just using you. And the friend thinks that Daniel has no potential, that Daniel is just using Bianca because Bianca has all this money and she's willing to take care of him. The friend asks her, since your lease is about to be up at the apartment and you're looking for another place, are you okay with moving in with him to a new place, even though he hasn't proposed to you? And Bianca is like, no, I'm not ready to do that. She doesn't want to do that. Daniel is FaceTiming his mom while she's out with her friend. And he tells his mom that, yes, I did buy a ring for her and I was about to propose to her when he had his meltdown. But now he's having second thoughts about that, and he tells his mom that they are not ready to be getting married or to be getting engaged. So hopefully that doesn't work out either, because I think that Daniel could do a little bit better than Bianca. Bianca's very young and extremely immature, and she's very reactionary. Like, she just reacts and says things out of anger and out of emotion. And Daniel seems like the kind of person where he's just like, he's not about that type of life, with the whole arguing and the emotions flaring and all of that. He seems to be, like, he tries to be cool, calm, and collected, but you can tell when the anger gets to him. But Daniel and Bianca, yeah, that's a no-go. Hopefully, they can break up amicably and go their separate ways. I just don't see this working out between them. Now that her friend is in town, they're going to be tag teaming him. They're both going to be attacking him on what a horrible boyfriend he is. So hopefully he's going to have the patience to deal with all of that and not lose his cool. Zariah and Troy. So Zariah gets a boot on her car for unpaid tickets. So she pays the money to get that taken off, which was $550. So her day is already starting off bad. Now, this is the community day, I think, and it's also their anniversary. So she's very stressed out. She's got to get things together for community day. There's also this anniversary thing going on, and she's highly stressed. So for community day, she tells us that they need 50 kids in the neighborhood to show up to show that there is a need for their organization in the neighborhood so they can get funding. And then I was kind of confused because I thought her organization or her nonprofit was to help inmates with mental health when they get out of prison, and if they need mental health assistance, that's what her nonprofit is for. But now she's talking about they need to have 50 kids sign up to show that there is a need in the community. So I guess her nonprofit also deals with children. I don't know. So Mariah's mad about the boot. She's mad because Troy didn't say happy anniversary to her. She's mad because while they're driving around getting things together, he's texting on his phone. So she ends up kicking him out of the car. They're at the store, they're at the parking lot of the store, and she tells him to get out because she's done with him. And I was shocked that Troy got out. I was really shocked that he actually got out. So he gets out the car. The producers have to take him to, he's trying to get to the train station to pick up his daughter because the daughter's mom agreed to let the daughter spend some time with him for community day. So the daughter and his mother are waiting for him to pick them up at the train station. But Zariah done kicked him out the car. Now he's riding with the producers. The producers were in a van, right? Like a minivan. So they literally like opened the hatch door or whatever in the back of the van, the door that rises up, and Troy literally crawled into that space in the back of the van. He wasn't sitting in the seat. He was sitting in that area behind the last row. That's where they put him. So I don't know. Okay, fine. He's at the church because I think this event is going to be taking place at Zariah's parents' church or something. And he's he's at Zariah's dad's church in the bathroom talking to his mom in secret. And he's begging his mom that, when she gets there, she needs to have a conversation with Zariah because Zariah is completely flipping out. The mom, Karen, has a lot of choice words to say about Zariah, calls her everything under the sun but a child of God. So she's ready for Zariah. She's ready to confront Zariah. So, Troy tells Zariah that he has to go pick up his daughter. And Zariah's like, no, you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay right here and you're going to help me. And he's like, don't play about my daughter. Don't play about my daughter. And then he calls his mom, or his mom calls him, and he tells his mom, I'm on my way. But his mom says, you know what? We're not going to be spending the night. In fact, I'm going to buy tickets for us to go back. So I don't know if they're still coming, but just not spending the night, or if they're not coming at all and they're about to go back to wherever they're from, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, I don't know. I was very confused. But the bottom line is Zariah has a horrible, horrible temper. Her temper gets the best of her. She's kicking her husband out the car because she's mad about him texting. And by the way, he wasn't even texting. He said that he was writing a post. He was posting a happy anniversary post on his social media to celebrate their anniversary. He wasn't even texting. So like when the girl was accusing you of texting, why didn't you tell her? I'm not texting. I'm posting something about our anniversary. Like, why didn't you tell her at that point? You would have been able to sit in the front seat of the car instead of having to ride um, in the back of the damn van with the producers. I don't know why I didn't tell her. But Zariah's temper is off the chain, which is crazy because her parents we don't know what was going on in her home. We don't really know these people. So who knows what was going on there. But her temper is just out of control. Her anger is really, really out of control. Moving on to Britney and Krock. So Britney was not officially given approval to go move to Texas, but they did get a 30-day pass for her. So she has a 30-day pass. So within these 30 days, they're going to go to Houston. They're going to set up their new apartment together. They're both are really happy and excited about being in Houston together. But K-Rock knows that Britney's going to be leaving in 30 days, so he's kind of bummed out about that. So K-Rock's mom comes over, I think with her fiance, and they're talking about, how much did it cost for you to move to Houston. K-Rock says it cost him about $15,000 for the total move to Houston because it's the cost of the moving, it's paying the rent in Houston, paying the rent in Virginia, and everything else in between. Britney could get off probation. So now they start talking about finances. And Brittany's on probation, right? And she has restitution to pay. She can get off probation if she pays her $10,000 restitution. So the producers asked her, so why don't you just pay your $10,000 restitution? And Brittany says that she's not like other people. She has a certain lifestyle that she wants to maintain. And she's not like regular folks who go buy their clothes from the dollar store. I don't know any regular folks who buy their clothes from the dollar store, okay? Most regular folks will buy their clothes from just regular clothing departments or regular stores like Target, Walmart, Ross, TJ Maxx, um, any of the department stores, the Gap, whatever. Like, I don't know a lot of people who buy their clothes from the dollar store, but Brittany says that she's not like the rest of us. When we go buy our clothes at the dollar store, she has a certain lifestyle to maintain, so she just can't throw her money to her at her restitution, because she has to have her hair done, her nails, her clothes, everything has to be the best of the best. So they talk about whether or not she's still in school for nails, and she said no, she's no longer going to school for nails. It was just too much for her. So K Rock's mom says, what about you getting a job? Because y'all are going to need two incomes to live in Houston. And Brittany doesn't want to work. She does not want to work. She wants to stay home. She tells us, I don't have to work. K Rock can take care of the finances. He can take care of both of us. I don't have to work. All I got to do is support K Rock and, take care of the home. And I don't have to bring in an income to help him. He's got this. K Rock's got this. So after the family leaves, K Rock and Brittany get into an argument about domestic duties. K Rock wants to go to sleep because he has to go to work the next day. And Brittany wants him to stay up and help her clean and unpack. And he's like, I can't do that. You can do that because you don't have to go to work. She gets upset because he likes to throw in her face all the time how you don't have to work or you don't have to go to work like me. And so she tells him, look, just because I stay home doesn't mean that I'm not doing anything, that I'm not contributing to anything. Being at home and keeping the home together and cooking for you and cooking and cleaning, all of that, that's work too. So they're going back and forth about that. It was all quite boring. Moving on to Tanny and Rob. So they're out bowling with the kids, and they sit down and they ask the kids how would they feel if they were to have another sibling. Are they open to having another sibling? And the funny thing is that the kids were like, yes. So the kids tell us in their own confessional that it's probably too soon for Teeny and Rob to start having kids. How is it that these two children have more sense than their parents? Teeny tells them that she wants another baby. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Her sister and her mom joined them at the bowling alley. So when they sit down and they get situated, Teeny tells her mom and sister that she wants to have another baby. Her sister's like, another what? Another who? Excuse me? So she's like, yeah, I'm getting older, and it's really scary for Black women right now to go to the hospital. And I was like, okay, I understand the getting older part of why you want to have a baby right away, but what does that have to do with Black women not being cared for properly at the hospital? Wouldn't that make you not want to have a child? So her sister starts crying, and her sister says that because Teeny had a complicated delivery with her son, she doesn't want Teeny to go through that again because she doesn't want to risk losing her sister. And so Teeny says that she'll be fine. She's taking care of herself. So the sister tells her, I support you in whatever you decide. I just don't want to lose you. Robbie is talking to the kids. Not Robbie, Rob is talking to the kids. And he's asking the kids if they're okay with his mother coming around again. The kids are really hesitant, but they tell him only if she apologizes. Then she can come around us again. And so we'll see how that goes. Not very well, I'm assuming, because the mom did not put her hands on Teeny when they had that confrontation, that physical confrontation. The mom did not put her hands on Teeny. Teeny put her hands on the mother first. Teeny started that fight. Verbally, she started it, and physically, she started it. So why would the mother, and I understand the kids are always going to be on their mother's side, but I think that Rob probably should have explained um, to the kids, well, they both were wrong, so maybe they should both apologize, to each other, and then both of them should apologize to the both of you. But I don't care how he's going to try to sell it to his mom. I don't think his mom is going to agree to apologize to anybody for a damn thing. Moving on to Justina Michael. So Manhattan's birthday is coming up. Her first birthday is coming up. So she's going to have to tell her mom because her mom is going to be coming down to Vegas for the birthday party. So she calls her mom on FaceTime, and she says, "You know how you're going to be coming down for Manhattan's birthday? Well, the day after that, I'm going to be going into the hospital to have a baby." And her mom is like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. You better not be, BSing me." And they're like, "No, for real. I'm pregnant. I'm going to be having this baby when you're here, probably. When you're here visiting, I'm going to be going into labor." And so the mom gets on her case for all the obvious reasons. It's too soon, you got too many kids, et cetera, et cetera. Then she turns the phone to Mike. And the mom is like, "Mike, what the hell are y'all doing over there?" And Mike is like, "Well, this was a very conscious decision on both of our parts. And this is all part of God's plan." And the mom says, don't use that God stuff on me. Don't use that as an excuse for the decisions that y'all are making. Okay? Because y'all are putting, she she knew that this was going to be a complicated pregnancy, and she still but you know what, they're grown. They're grown, mom. They're grown. If you're not paying for these children, I understand you don't agree with it, but they're grown. If they're taking care of their own kids, spending their own money on their own children, and they're not asking for a handout, and they're not asking anybody else for any assistance, they can have 25 kids as long as they can provide for all these kids on their own without having to go anywhere or to anyone else for help. They got this. It's their bodies, their money, their homes, their children. They can do whatever they want. It's a completely different story if you're constantly asking other people to help you out financially. That's a completely different story. But if no one is helping them pay these bills and take care of these kids, have at it. Have as many kids as you want. Melissa and Louie. So Melissa wakes up. When we see Melissa and Louie, Melissa's trying to get out of bed because she is going to be looking at wedding gowns that particular day. So she's trying to hurry up and get out of bed, and Louie's trying to pull her back in. So Melissa says to us, she says, "This is like one of the best mornings ever," because I think this is right after she got engaged. She says, "This is one of the best mornings ever, waking up with Louie from high school." So when she said that, waking up with Louie from high school, that told me right then and there, to her, she feels like she's won the prize because she got the popular kid in high school. She got the most popular boy in high school. She's still living in that era. She is still in that time frame. In her mind, she got with the most popular kid in school. And it's like, Melissa, please join us in 2024. Okay, he's just another guy, just a regular guy. Y'all are not in high school anymore. He's not the cool kid on the block. He's just a regular guy now. So at the bridal shop, it's going to be her friend, her sister, and her mother-in-law. Her sister and mother-in-law show up together, and the mother-in-law is upset because she was like, "Why did her sister have to come pick me up? Why didn't Melissa come pick me up herself? I am the mother-in-law." So the sister and the friend, while Melissa's trying on gowns in the dressing room, the sister and the friend are talking about her ring, and they're wondering, how did Louis afford such a nice ring? And they're speculating that he either stole it or that he had his mom help him buy it. And the mom overhears all of this, and she tells them that Louis was working hard, Louis was saving his money, etc., etc. Why do they care how he got the ring? Why would they think that he would even, I don't know. I don't know. That to me was just that was a really ugly things to say about your sister's engagement ring. Really, the girl is going to be marrying this guy. Okay, the decision has already been made. If she loves the ring, if she loves the ring that he gave her, what difference does it make to you? What difference will it make? And I'm pretty sure that Melissa is the kind of girl that she's going to get this ring tested probably. But if she's happy, like, what difference does it make? That was just really awful things to say. Melissa chooses her dress, the dress that she wants. It's exactly that, fits her personality. It's very sexy, very risque, a little bit over the top, and it's going to cost $4,000. And so I don't know how Louis is going to pay for that dress because his savings are completely depleted after buying that ring. He spent like what, 18,000 on that ring? If they only knew, if the sister and the friend only knew that Louis spent 18,500 on that damn ring. This was like a nothing episode. I'm sorry if my review is kind of lame and boring, but the episode didn't give me much to work with. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.